That is some type of shark. We are in Sacramento, California, Splash Aquarium. Lots of cool fish tanks, 12 aquariums dedicated to plants. They also have a full saltwater section. I like the diversity of the types of fish they have. People are here to help you. This is great because it kind of allows the fish to swim in and out and around. Yeah, just a nicely scaped Planet Aquarium. Bamboo shrimp, rasboras, rainbow fish. Now this makes me very, very happy. Brackish water. Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We are in Sacramento, California at an aquarium store called Splash Aquarium. They were kind enough to let us come in and do a little bit of filming and check out their store. I've never been here before. Matt behind the camera's never been here before, but we have heard about this place, and since it's kind of in the direction of where we're going next, we thought let's stop here, make a cool video, check it out, and show you guys some cool stuff. So first thing I noticed when I walked in is they have some koi ponds here. Now, I call them ponds because, you know, that's kind of what they are. It's kind of similarly built to the way I have my koi pond. So I always like seeing koi fish. For me, it's always been one of my favorite fish, as I've talked about before. And they have a large selection of different types of koi fish, small ones, large ones. So yeah, always nice to see. Lots of dry goods here. They just got their shipment of aquariums in, so they've got a bunch of aquariums set up. Now, right here, this is something that Matt and I both stopped at earlier, and we were checking out this tank. This is a display tank, a Planet Aquarium, live aquarium plants with lots of different fish in here. There's discus in there, angelfish, bamboo shrimp, rasboras. They have rainbow fish. There's Sturbai corridora. There's some nice plecos down there, rummy-nosed tetras, Siamese algae eaters. Yeah, just a nicely scaped Planet Aquarium. It's always nice when you go into a local fish store and they have a nice Planet setup, because you know that they're taking the time to set up a Planet Aquarium, show people what it looks like to have a nicely set up aquarium, and it gives people a lot of inspiration and ideas as far as how to set up an aquarium for themselves. Lots of cool fish tanks, or lots of cool fish in fish tanks. But one thing that I did want to point out as we're going around is you'll see some of the tanks that will have NFS, which means not for sale. And I love seeing that because it really means that a store is taking the time to quarantine their fish, making sure that when they bring in fish from the wholesaler, from the farms, they're taking the time to leave that tank alone, put some meds through them, and ensure that they're safe for people to buy. So you'll see here, we've got some Oscars that are not for sale. They wrote the date, 9/7. Today is 9/19, so it's been 12 days since they got these fish, and they still have not made them available for purchase yet. So they are definitely going through the quarantine process. So we've got the Oscars in here. We've got a flower horn in here. I don't know which is which as far as when they came in, but 9/7 not for sale. Another thing that I always like to look at when I'm in a fish store and checking out new stores and what they have is what kind of selection do they have. And the more selection that they offer, the more interesting the store is and the more options it gives for people. So you might want to have like a monster fish tank, and here we've got some baby Oscars that are coming up and swimming to my hand. I love Oscars, we kind of know that, even though I don't have any right now. Or like if you're into small Planet tanks, you can do like some Julie catfish, corridoras, like other smaller fish for Planet aquariums, and kind of everything in between. We've got African cichlids, New World cichlids, tetras, barbs. So it's always nice to see a large selection of fish available to buy. Now this is something that I don't always see in a local fish store, especially where I live in San Francisco, and that's a peacock bass. So most people where I live don't have tanks large enough for peacocks, or peacock bass I should say. Here in Sacramento, people tend to have larger homes, larger aquariums, so you could have a 240 gallon or larger aquarium and have some peacock bass in there. So they do offer some large fish. They actually have a baby red-tailed catfish in here, so you might need a larger tank than a 240. Maybe you've got, a 600, 700, 800 gallon aquarium or something like that. But people do have ponds and heated ponds and indoor ponds and things like that because there's more space out here. Lots of African cichlids. I do want to mention, you see them in a store, they're beautiful, they're colored up, and they're small. They're gonna get much larger. These are like 1/3 the size of what they're gonna be full grown. Just know that when you see African cichlids in here and you think, oh, I could keep them in a 29 gallon tank. Yeah, I wouldn't keep peacocks in a 29-gallon tank because they're going to get much larger. They need more space, and you tend to want to overstock them a little bit to handle the aggression. Now here we've got some interesting fish. We actually have an elephant nose, which is a fish that I learned about a couple of years ago from Dr. Cutler. So if you're part of the Aquarium Co-op Club, you could actually watch that talk, and he gives a presentation on the elephant nose and other electric fish like that. He's actually got an email from him a couple weeks ago. He's in Africa doing some studies in Africa. There's a Bashir in there, or a Baishir, and we have 2 arowana, silver arowana. Beautiful fish, always intriguing, but man, do they get big. So you better have a large aquarium if you're gonna keep a silver arowana. I imagine they tell people that these things will get larger than this aquarium and they're gonna need a lot of space because silver arowana, they get like 3 feet long. Now I think I found my favorite aquarium here in the store so far, and that's this Tanganyikan tank. We've got shell dwellers. It looks like we've got multifasciatus. There are some Synodontis in here. There are some Julidochromis. So these ones are, it just says Julidochromis, but they look like the ones I have, the Transcriptus Tanzania. Yeah, that's a cool tank to see shell dwellers, another Tanganyikan fish that you don't normally find in a lot of fish stores. Now this makes me very, very, very happy. Brackish water. You guys know I keep brackish tanks. I've got green spotted puffers. I had figure 8 puffer, mud skippers, blennies, and other stuff. They actually have their figure 8 and their green spotted puffers in here in brackish water. A lot of fish stores will have them sold as freshwater fish. No, no, no. They're fine for a short amount of time. Any brackish fish can live in freshwater for a period of time because they are adapted to live in fresh and saltwater environments and everything in between, which is brackish. But ultimately, they need brackish water for the long term. They need those minerals that are found in those reef salts. And here we have a brackish tank set up with the appropriate fish in a brackish tank. So I'm just very happy that they have these fish, often sold as freshwater fish, noted as brackish water. They also have a snowflake eel in there as well. Apparently the snowflake eel does well in brackish water. So good for me to know if that's something I might want to keep. So we looked at some really cool larger fish, some get giant, but here we have fish that can actually live in tiny, tiny tanks. So here we've got the clown killifish. I kept these before. They're a beautiful fish. They also have shrimp. So I've talked about keeping shrimp. They've got some freshwater shrimp tanks here. And then over here, what I also love to see, live aquarium plants. You guys know, plants make tanks easier. Even in cichlid tanks, if you can figure out how to keep plants with your cichlids, it's going to aid in the water chemistry. And here they've got lots of different options of plants to keep. So they've got easy plants, floating plants, they've got rhizome plants, and they even have like some cool rotala here. It's just cool to see a fish store that has a lot of aquarium plants. And here we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 aquariums basically dedicated to plants. So that's a great thing. A lot of fish stores don't put that much resource towards plants. So if you are looking for live plants, they have them here. All right, so they also have a lot of different woods and rocks here. So over here, there's grape wood, there's mopani wood, there's spider wood, and they've got different types of rock. They've got riverstone and lava rock and that kind of stuff. And here they have a scaping section. So this looks like it's a 6 foot by 18 inches. So this would be a 125. Is that 6 feet? Yep, 6 feet. And essentially what you can do is if you want to buy a piece of wood and you're not sure how it's going to fit in your aquarium, you would come over and say, yeah, I want to get this wood and I've got a 125, so maybe I'll do something like that. Then I could take this and maybe I can do this right here. Oh yeah, I could buy these 2 pieces, they fit. Oh, I want to do some rocks, and you can get some different stones and start to scape it out and kind of set up what your aquarium might look like. So just another thing that allows you to try before you buy. They also have a full saltwater section. So over there, we saw all the freshwater tanks. Here, they've got a bunch of saltwater fish available, corals. They've got a full live rock tank over there, a tub with live rock. So they have some nice, nice display tanks here. Again, I'm a freshwater guy and a brackish guy, but I do appreciate nicely set up reef tanks, and I've talked about maybe doing that again one day. Here we've got a nice, like a giant cube setup. This is great because it kind of allows the fish to swim in and out and around. And then going down here, of course, lots of different saltwater fish to choose from. Your standards like your clowns and your tangs, lots of different types of saltwater fish. A full frag section here. So there's like the little tiny frags and larger pieces, and pretty good prices. Me, having purchased coral before and, going to events like Aquashella and seeing what coral goes for, seems like they've got some pretty good selection here. Lots of different types of clownfish, which is always neat. So you've got some of the more fancier clowns like the frostbite and the snow onyx. Those are always kind of cool. So there's a really cool fish. That is some type of shark. Now, I've never kept a shark, not a true shark at least. In the freshwater world, we call certain fish sharks, but they're not really sharks. But that's a shark. That's pretty cool. And I've never really been into like wanting to keep a shark tank, but man, that is a beautiful looking fish. And if maybe I had the right giant saltwater tank set up, that might be something that I might want to keep. All right, here's another cool setup. We got a little Nano Planet tank. I want to say this is like maybe 5 or so gallons. It looks like it's a little bit of a bow front. And we have in here a betta, we've got some white cloud mountain minnows, and this really beautiful scape. If you remember from a while ago at Ocean Aquarium in San Francisco, Justin, he had those tanks with things growing out of it. I kind of get that same vibe here. We got floating plants, we got like some mosses, we got some different grass-like plants and terrestrial plants growing out of this aquarium. So really cool setup. I love the dragonstone. We've got some anubias in there. Just a really nice scape. And again, it doesn't take up a lot of space. This 5-gallon aquarium can sit in anyone's small apartment or bedroom or office, and you can still have a beautiful tank. And I like that they have it set up right here. When you walk in, people can see it and say, oh, I have space for something like that. Because a lot of times when people think, oh, I'm gonna have a big aquarium, and they might see something giant like that when we walked in, that big Planet aquarium, you're not thinking like, oh, I could also have a really beautiful tank that only takes up 2 feet worth of space. So very cool. I'm impressed with their display tanks. It's always nice to see the time taken to set up some nicely scaped tanks. I like the diversity of the types of fish they have. I also love that they have a full section dedicated to plants. It just shows that they're really dedicated to making sure that aquarium plants are available to people in the hobby. Very friendly staff. That's always something that's important, is people are here to help you. They're actually in the background. I can hear them helping a customer shop for fish and answering questions, and the staff are all very friendly and talking with them. So yeah, just a good vibe here. So if you're in the Sacramento area, you want to check out another fish store, check out Splash, their Splash Aquarium. Let them know that you heard about them from this video when you go in there, and I'm sure that they'll be very happy to receive you. So with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I know I say it all the time. You have no idea how much it helps the algorithm and YouTube and all that nonsense. Check out this video right here, another fun fish store tour, and we'll catch you on the next one.